Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Timothy Gergis. I'm Director of Product Management for Topology and Morphing. Today we're going to go through the release for 2024. A lot of what we're going to go through today is general fixes, things we are working on as we try and work towards, and I think we've spoken about this a little bit before, but as we try to work towards a controls for meshing and controls for model setup. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Pritam. Thanks, Pritam.
Hello everyone, my name is Preetham Deshpande and I'm the program manager working with Tim. So today I'm going to talk about some of the updates that we did on the sketching side first in 2024. The big one on sketching side is that now we are supporting sketching tools through customization. So we are supporting the commands through our TCL APIs as well as Python. The main command here that we have added for sketching is the star sketch edit. And you can see that we try to make it very easy to understand. So this command basically where you can specify either the sketch ID or the name. You can provide the operation that you are trying to do within Sketch. And when it comes to operations, these are the operations as you can see um, that we support. For example, adding a sketch or adding an entity, modifying an entity, splitting, fillets and offsets and so on. So we have also are doing extensive documentation on this along with the examples. I'm not sure if we can get it through because there's quite a bit of things that needs to be hashed out from the official documentation perspective, but I do have scripts as well as a PowerPoint if someone is interested in knowing more about this command and how to actually make use of this. The other data name is basically on what entity you want to do that operation. So these are the data names, like the entities that we are supporting, like points, lines, circles. So basically you can add a point or you can add a line or you can modify a circle. So that's how these things are written. And then depending on the entity, you can give and provide a value. So what that means is that if I want to create a line, typically it requires 2 points to draw a line between, then you would create those points first, provide that point data to line as a starting position and ending position. So these are some of the uh, things that we do which are more intuitive in a sense that you would know what is required and what is supported within Sketch to draw a line or to draw a circle, and those are the arguments that are provided once you define that you want to add a circle, for example. So here is an example of creating a circle using star sketch edit command. Since whatever I'm typing is not visible, so I have also uh, typing a command here. So first you would create an entity or you would add a sketch. So I'm giving the name of the sketch here, and then there are how you add your sketch is by defining new plane. So you are defining a plane origin, like where you want your plane to be, what's your plane normal and your plane x direction. Then you would get the ID of that sketch that you have created so that you can pass this ID to star sketch edit command. So you provide the ID, You say operation you want to add a circle, and then what are the creation methods for circle that I'm using here is the circle with center position and radius. So then you can give center position of the coordinates and then the radius. So this is as simple as, while I'm talking itself I'm explaining what and how this command is useful. So this is how you can get most of the entities to add or modify within Sketch. If you have further questions or need detailed PowerPoint, I do have it. I'm not sure how much of it will make the documentation in this release, but I have all the background information if someone is interested in knowing. From the legend side, this was coming from field that, whenever people take or generate any reports, they would like to see min and max values. And that's what we are added now as a support. So whenever you do any criteria drill down, we also give you minimum and maximum value here in the legend. A small minor enhancement here on the legend positioning. You can see on the left side before 2024, as you're scrolling up and down the slider, the legend is moving left and right. So based on the element count, it is trying to adjust this value. And if it's huge, it becomes a problem when you are moving from left to, so it keeps moving left and right. It keeps kind of aligning to the right of the screen. So we have taken it out. So what we do now is that if the element count is increasing based on your slider position, we move it to the left. But if the slider is moved down, we don't position it to the right. So that way it gives stability to the legend. Just based on the element count, it can move to the left and adjust the spacing. But after that, you don't see this moving back and forth. Just a minor enhancement. On the defeaturing of the fillets, this is actually a big project in a sense that fillets and removal of the fillets are always challenging. Even using the Parasolid kernel, for example. So even for a CAD software, I would like to clarify this. Removing of the fillets is not an easy job, even though you create those fillets within that CAD tool itself. And oftentimes it comes because there are a lot of merging fillets, fillet chains going in different directions, and it becomes challenging to remove these fillets. So we are trying to add and improve the workflow of the defeaturing of the fillets. And what I have realized is that you also need to, most of the times, you're about to remove about 60 to 70% of the fillets, but there will be some challenging fillets that you cannot remove it. So we have obviously added use Parasolid option, but even that is not enough sometimes. So we need to provide some semi-automatical approach of removing of the fillets. So this is just one small step towards it. What we do now, actually, let me play this video, is that we have added this option called process fillet chains. So what this does is that sometimes when there are merging fillets coming in, it becomes difficult to remove everything because it is trying to remove a whole fillet chain. So as you can see from this, and removing of the whole fillet chain may not be possible, or as you can see, it destroys your solid. So what we try to do with this is that we allow to not process the whole fillet chain, but you can see here, I can just pick a single small fillet and then remove only that part of the fillet. So, we are trying to provide you, okay, how much maximum you can remove without destroying a solid or without doing additional cleanup. So this is just a small step towards this. Going forward, we would provide some more tools on removing of the fillets manually or semi-automatic, for example, because typically what happens in the defeaturing is that you would delete that fillet, and then you will try to extend the other two surfaces perpendicular to each other, so that you can get that corner, the perfect corner that you're looking for. So again, I also would like to warn you that uh, let's say if you're trying to remove a fillet chain and you're not able to remove that, um, in the within a code itself you can try unchecking the process fillet chain. But even though whether you turn it on or off this option, if that fillet cannot be removed, um, then there is no way that you can magically remove that even with this option. So sometimes what happens is that partial fillets can be removed, but the software itself doesn't allow you because it is processing whole fillet chain. So that's where this option is useful. So I would like to also tell you that if you turn this on or off and you're trying to remove a certain region of the fillet, and if it doesn't get removed, don't think that this option is not working, because it is quite possible that even without this option, originally itself, even the part of the fillet would not have been possible to be removed. So just a note on that one. Moving forward, under the line mesh, we are also now supporting node selection, which we were only doing lines before, and our old panels were supporting node selection as well. So now we have added a node list selection so that you can easily select nodes and create 1D elements from it, or line mesh from it. That's about it from my side. I will hand over to Salim.
Hello everyone, my name is Salim and I'll be discussing some of the machine developments we have done for 2024. Um, the major development is towards FE geometry. We are trying to bring FE geometry as close to CAD so that we reduce a lot of mesh editing time. So majority of the development is towards that, and there has also been development towards component removal. So maybe we can discuss through that in detail. So this is one such example where we see FE geometry was not supported before. So this is cross extend where we had no support for FE geometry. Now we have supported this, and also we have removed CAD and FE options in the hamburger menu because we didn't wanted a separate CAD and FE tabs. We wanted it to be as close as possible. So all the options that were supported for CAD is now also supported for FE geometry, and this helps us in fastly editing the mesh. For example of this, where we have a clip which isn't connected to the base, and user could just pick the clip and base and then connect with it using cross extend. So this is just a one click process. So same goes with the here where we have a rib and the base, and we are trying to connect using cross extend, and all of the options that were in the hamburger menu, those are supported now for FE geometry as well. Going further, there has been quite a bit of enhancement in Stitch. Earlier, we had a Stitch support for FE geometry, but it wasn't working the way it was expected to be working. It wasn't giving us the right results, especially when it comes to the stitch and intersect option. So we have improved that. So all the stitch and intersect options, for example, in this example where we have overlapping surfaces and we wanted to stitch them. So now it is working fine, and also stitch and intersect where we are intersecting edges onto a base. This is also working fine. So all of the cases for stitch are working as good as CAD with FE geometry. So this really saves a lot of time when we are editing mesh, which is coming either from mid mesh or in general FE geometry. This is in a direction where we want to remove the usage of orphan mesh, and we want to play with FE geometry more and more and use all of these tools to reduce our mesh editing time. So not just that, and it also helps us to maintain node associativity, which will help us eventually in when we are coming across engineering properties and all of that. In fact, towards that direction, we have also improved extrude. Basically, we had the hex tool, which we removed it, and which all the functionality from hex has been moved to extrude now. So in the extrude, there is a mesh check button now. In fact, you had this mesh check button before, but now this mesh check button not just creates the bounding mesh, it is also capable of creating hex mesh. Also, you would see more selectors now, not just surface lines and nodes. You would also see facets and elements wherein you can extrude that. So X in a way, hex in a way has a had a separate tool altogether. Basically, what we were doing is the same as extrude in that. So in a way, we are also simplifying the workflow for the user and helping him to understand the extrude workflows and simplifying the hex workflows as well. So a user can pick surfaces, whether it's source and optionally target, and user can also pick guides, whether it could be multiple guides or single guides, and it could be just lines, or it can also be facets or other guides as well. So apart from that, we have also developed towards creating solid along with the hex elements. So earlier we were just creating hex elements, which was kind of orphan mesh. So we want to get away from the orphan meshes. So we also create solid along with the elements, and also we try to associate those elements to the solid so that we always have geometry associated to mesh. So this works same with FE geometry and CAD as well. We will currently there is no support of solid creation for facets and elements, but if user is picking surface, he would always see solid getting created along with the surfaces. But if user is picking facets and elements, they would see they would say orphan meshes, so which we want to get away from, and we want to further improve this going forward. So this is development towards extrude, and we have also had the developments for features support on FE geometry. Earlier, if you had seen, whenever we were detecting features for FE geometry, it would have created FE features. So now it creates a geometry feature. For example, if we are running the detection, auto detection, it would create FE geometry, or rather geometry features for FE geometry holes. And we are creating geometry features manually. And then we also create geometry features for fillets and holes, flanges, and logos. So there has been quite a bit of enhancements in FE geometry as well. So this will help us whenever we are going for the treatment on the mesh using FE geometry. There has been a good amount of improvements, especially when adjusting the normals, auto adjustment of the normals. It works as good as orphan mesh, in fact, even more better. The auto adjustment, if we are using element as the reference, we would do it by connectivity, or if we user is doing by vector, they would see that it's aligned to that vector direction. Apart from that, if there is just auto adjustment, it would work just the way it used to work for the orphan meshes. Along with that, there has been a few more enhancements. For example, when we are trying to combine surfaces, we also now automatically adjust the mesh as per the surfaces for FE geometry, so that there is no inconsistency between geometry and the mesh. So all these are towards making FE geometry more stable and more usable, and also reduce our mesh leading time. So we have also added support for offset on FE geometry, which wasn't supported before. user can pick a surface and define offset value and offset it as they used to do it for CAD. So similar way they can do it for FE geometry as well. As I mentioned earlier, there has been developments towards removing of the component in the future, and this is in the same direction. I think in 23.1 we developed geometry tools to be obeying for the global preference. We have added the global preference only for current and original before. Now we have also added a new option wherein user can use this new option whenever the new geometry needs to be created and placed in the new component. And this new part, it will not just create a component, it will also create a part and maintain the right hierarchy, so that it helps us to remove the component easily when going forward. So all of the tools now obeys these options. So all these mentioned tools like ruled, extrude, revolve, offset, patch, spline, skin, and mid surface, midline, and mid mesh. So all of these tools obeys the global preference here. We want to further improve this for support of shapes, lines, and solids to obey this, and also Sketcher. But for now, all of these tools obeys these options. There has been few changes for mid surface, midlines, and mid mesh. We don't support multiple components created under same part. For example, we don't have multiple mid surfaces or mid mesh from different parts to be placed under same component. That has been removed now. So each of its representations will be either created in its own part, or when the option is new for each of those part, it will create a new part and place the mid surface, midline, or mid mesh in the same component or the same part. So there has been few developments towards this, and yeah, we will work towards improving this further and adding support for other tools as well. So this is about it. I might probably go through some demos here just to talk through whatever I spoke now. So if you go to 2D and cross extend, you would not see FE and CAD tabs. And you can see all of these tools, all of these options obeys for FE geometry except for this. So it is mentioned as for CAD. But if I can just pick this and I can extend this, or I've also mentioned about extrude. So we can pick a surface and extrude them, and you would see the solid getting created, not just the mesh. So if I pick it as the solid, you would see there is a solid created on this. And I also spoke about stitch. So in these cases where we have stitch and intersect, we can pick this and stitch it. Now you would see this. So in fact, when we made default to the rebuild in the preferences, so it will give us the expected output always. So this is also towards that direction. And with respect to FE geometry stuff for features, I can detect features. As I said, auto detection will work for holes. So now you would see this is being a CAD feature, geometry feature, rather than a FE feature, which will help us to treat the feature better going forward, whether it is rebuild or right from mid-mesh extraction. And when we are going towards rep and feature controls, as Tim mentioned, so all of this will be supported, and this is a good step towards that direction.
So in the last notes for 24.0 for morphing, we have improved significantly the domain-based morphing. So import export. So if you ever saved a model with domains in it, trying to reload that HM binary file was very, very slow. That is now, I think when we benchmarked a full body in white, it was pre-24, it was over an hour to load the binary file. In 24, it's about a minute. The improvements to the domain-based morphing means that free and proximity morph should now be significantly faster. The alter dimensions is now significantly faster. So again, if you were to create domains over an entire car body, and you then tried to use the alter dimension tools on one whole, pre-24, it would take over an hour to alter one whole dimension. In 24, it takes 5 seconds, if that. You've also, if you've used a lot of the tools before, you'll notice that we put this in quote 2-stage morphing, but you would complete a morph and then you would see it would do a bunch of processing at the end of the morph operation to reapply the morph. That's now been removed. So it should, again, you should see some performance improvements from that perspective as well.